Welcome to the Fun with Friends podcast, hosted by me, Allie, featuring my friends. What is up, everyone? We are cruising through the first month of 2020. I hope everyone is still as motivated as they may have been coming into the new year. I know that I am. Does that mean that I have figured out how to use my podcasting gear yet? Absolutely not. But does it mean that I will learn how to use it? It most definitely does. But for now, you're going to have to deal with this audio. So buckle up and let's jump into this week's episode. In this week's episode, I will be talking about National Novel Writing Month, or as it's called, NaNoWriMo for short. So if you want to play a fun game, keep track of how many times I say NaNoWriMo, and then let me know. Go to my Twitter, @FunFriendsPod1, and tell me what the total is. And the person that gets it right will get a shout out in the next episode. Let's play that game. All right, let's jump into this. NaNoWriMo is a nonprofit that is really all about supporting and encouraging creativity, and they are there to help people achieve their creative goals through writing. As always, I will provide a link to their website and their social media in the description of this episode, just in case anyone is interested in learning more about NaNoWriMo and what they do. A few more, fun facts or knowledge nuggets on NaNoWriMo is that it started in 1999, and the challenge was to write 50,000 words of a novel in 30 days, and that challenge has been carried forward to today. Every year on November 1st, the challenge begins, and there are hundreds of thousands of people from around the world that participate in it, with the goal being to write 50,000 words of a brand new novel. So essentially, you could end the month of November as a novelist. The really cool thing about NaNoWriMo is that it's more than just a challenge. It really is a community and a program that is all about supporting those that want to write and want to be creative. And I mean, who can't get on board with that? It's a pretty awesome program. NaNoWriMo is also a teaching tool, and they have classes that are taught throughout the country. And they also have a young writers program. They do Camp NaNoWriMo, and they have several other programs. Again, I'll put all their information in the episode description, so I highly recommend you check it out if you're interested in learning more. You can also see on their website that they currently have roughly 798,000 active novelists and 368,000 novels that have been completed. So, yeah, all around, NaNoWriMo is the shit. A little bit about my writing background before we jump into my experience of NaNoWriMo. So I've always been interested in writing, and I wrote a lot when I was younger, especially poetry. I think in general I was a lot more creative when I was younger because I was, reading more, and the internet wasn't around a whole lot, so we weren't on our cell phones all the time. And at that point, there was really only one way to entertain myself, and that was to read, and then to also kind of make up my own worlds. And so that's what I did. I read a lot and I wrote a lot. And I won a few creative writing contests way back in the day in my youth. And I also had a couple poems published when I was in college, but really that's about it. Nothing too out there. I don't really consider myself a writer, although I do write. I also freelance every now and then, but it's pretty much just writing like other people's blogs for them and general informational articles. So again, nothing too groundbreaking. Just every now and then I'll pick up a couple jobs for writing when I feel like it. all that being said, I do have about 50 journals kind of scattered about my home that are filled with stories. And I often write to, I guess, ease my anxiety over certain things, or I'll have like a crazy ass dream and I'm like, I gotta turn this into a story. And so I will write it down. I actually keep a journal next to my bed, so if I wake up, I can immediately kind of jot down whatever the hell I was dreaming about. And I've also like recorded myself talking about a dream I had at like 2 a.m. because it was a genuinely bonkers dream and I had to get it down before I went back to sleep. So hopefully there are other fellow writers out there that feel the struggle, that have way too many journals kind of just scattered throughout their homes, because I know I do. I started working on a book, or something I thought could maybe be a book or a novella, almost, I guess, 10 to 12 years ago. I think I started writing it after my dad died, because it was sort of a way to work through feelings through the eyes of my characters and kind of figure out what I was feeling, but have it be from someone else's perspective, if that makes sense. I also had some insomnia at that time, so I would just stay up all night writing away in my sketch pad. So it was like half full of drawings and sketches, and then half of it was full of just like my mad scribblings about the story that was kind of slowly taking shape. And when I say slowly, again, I mean it's been 10, maybe 12 years later, and that shit still isn't finished. So honestly, this book has been, maybe the longest relationship I've ever had in my life. So anyways, I have this book that I've been working on forever, and I pick it up every now and then, but the problem is that I always start back at the beginning and I start editing and tweaking it, so I'm not actually making any progress on it. And going into NaNoWriMo, which I suppose I cheated a little bit, because I think you're supposed to start from scratch, so start at a 0 word count, and I started with, I think, around like 11,000 words, so I may have cheated a little bit. But anyway, going into NaNoWriMo, I told myself that I was going to pick up where I had left off and not look back at anything that I had previously written. I definitely did not do that. But before we go into November, let's backtrack a little to the end of October. I started seeing folks prepping for NaNoWriMo in October because I'm in a couple of online writing groups, which, shout out to Scribblers and writerinos, what's up? And everyone was abuzz with prepping for NaNoWriMo because they have all of these great like warm-up exercises and worksheets that you can do to prepare yourself for the craziness of writing 50,000 words in a month. And I immediately decided that I wasn't going to do it. I made up my mind that I didn't have enough time because I was doing all this photography stuff, and that was really my focus. So I didn't want to pull time away from photography to do writing. So I thought maybe next year, and I wrote it off and kind of just ignored everything through October. Then like a week before November 1st, one of my friends, Julie actually, who has been on previous episodes, she sent me a link to NaNoWriMo on Facebook and was like, hey, do you know about this? Are you going to do it? I think, you'd be interested. And I was like, yeah. But I'm not doing it this year. I don't have the time. And, again, kind of like pushed it away. And then November 1st hits. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm in. I'm going to do this. So I went into my very first NaNoWriMo with no plan, no prep, and just completely unprepared. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. And yeah, the only thing that really made me feel better about the situation was that I was going in with a story that was already started, and that made me feel like it was going to actually be possible to reach the goal of 50,000 words in a month. So as I mentioned, I went in with around 11,000 words already. Thank God, because I actually don't know if I could have done it starting at 0, at least not this first time around, because I did not manage my time very well. So pretty much you have to write around 1,700 words a day for a month, which maybe doesn't sound like a lot, but it can be, especially when like the creative juices aren't flowing and you're trying to write something that's coherent and interesting, and it can be a struggle sometimes. I did learn though that it's not always necessarily about the quality of the writing during NaNoWriMo, but it's more about just pushing to get the creative out, to get the words out, to get your ideas, down so that you're moving forward with whatever you're working on. So it doesn't necessarily have to be pretty. It just, I guess, needs to exist. Because you can always go back, right? That's what editing's for. So I signed up like the day of, like November 1st. I was there. I uploaded my document into the NaNoWriMo site, which I also use Dabble, which is, I guess, a novel writing platform, I suppose you would call it. You can essentially build your story on this platform and also write it there. So you have a space for your story notes, your characters, world building, plot points, scenes. You can essentially storyboard everything about whatever you're writing before you actually start writing it and do it all in that one spot. And it's awesome. I love Dabble. I have like 3 different whips, works in progress right now, all in Dabble as we speak. It's a pretty cool platform. Anyway, I was definitely worried that I was going to have to like copy and paste my entire story into a Word document and then upload it into NaNoWriMo and like deal with all that. But something really cool occurred, and NaNoWriMo and Dabble paired up so you could just do all of your writing in Dabble as you usually would, and it automatically synced up your word count to the NaNoWriMo site. That was pretty fucking dope. It's amazing because I could just keep going on my current document in like my current platform that I'm familiar with and not worry about like transferring it over or like messing anything up. So that was pretty sweet. Once I was set up with my account, I started perusing the online writing groups I was in to see if there were any other people that were participating and if they wanted to like be writing buddies, because that's another thing that you can do through NaNoWriMo. You can kind of like create a buddy system in there and like keep each other updated and see how everyone's doing and, check on their word counts and, just motivate each other. It was also kind of, again, I kind of mentioned this, but it was great to see all the support and encouragement that occurred in the 2 groups that I mentioned earlier, Scribblers and Writerinos. Like, we were all in it together, supporting each other. There were other people who, like me, did absolutely none of the prep, and we were kind of all freaking out together, and we were like, fuck it, like, we're doing this, we'll figure it out, like, we'll get as far as we can. And that's kind of the whole process of doing NaNoWriMo. And yeah, it was just kind of, it was really cool to see that there were a lot of people that were just as freaked out and unprepared as you were. I actually reached out to people in those groups to see if anyone would like to send a voice message about their NaNoWriMo experience, and I actually got a few folks that did. Woo! So you'll be hearing those voice messages a little later in the episode. So as I mentioned, my goal was to like pick up at the end of what I had currently written and to move forward with my story. I did not do that at all, not even on the first day of writing. I started at the beginning, which honestly was probably a good thing. I don't know if it was like the pressure of having to write so many words a day or what, but I was feeling like super freaking creative. And I think my story is honestly better for it. I rewrote a large part of the beginning and added a lot to fill out the story a bit more in the first couple of chapters. I think it actually worked in my favor, which, if anyone is wondering what my book is about, I guess it's weird. It's kind of weird saying that, honestly. To say like my book or that I am a writer feels weird to me. But yeah, it's a post-apocalyptic survival story where people move underground to survive, and eventually they come back to the surface to find that the world isn't as it once was. It is super gloomy and sad, but that fits with my like typical frame of mind. And again, I started writing it after my dad died, so there were a whole bunch of emotions going on there. And yeah, so there are a lot of, ponderings about humanity, the meaning of life, and of course, death. So, the usual like topics. I actually also created a playlist that I listened to every day that I wrote. That is made up of mostly moody tunes. I think Lizzo might pop up in there every now and then because everyone needs a little Lizzo in their life. I actually put the playlist up on Spotify, so you can probably find it if you want to feel the vibe of my book, I guess. It's called Writing Tunes. Super fucking clever, I know. And it's by me, Allie Coots. So you can find it. There's some Billie Eilish on there. There's actually a lot of Billie Eilish. She's a whole mood, man. And I was feeling it. I was feeling it a lot while I was writing. So a lot of Billie Eilish vibes going on there. There's also like Talking Heads, Dreamers, AJR. I mean, it's a pretty wild mix of tunes. But again, check it out if you're interested. It's up there on Spotify. So anyway, I have this playlist and like copious amounts of tea to fuel me through NaNoWriMo, and a plan to write every evening to hit my word goal every day, which that also did not happen. I did well for like the first week maybe, and then I took a day off, and then another day off, and then I was like 4,000 words behind, and then 6,000 words behind. So I got pretty far behind in my word count at one point, but again, I went back to the writing groups and would just like scroll through the feed and see everyone like motivating each other, and I would chime in every now and then and like motivate people, and I don't know, there was something about it that was just like, it would pump me up, and I'd be like, yeah, like we're all doing this together, like if they can do it, I can do it. And it really kind of helped push me forward and keep me like motivated to write, especially on the days that I didn't want to. I stayed up pretty late, many nights in a row, just writing. I had like my unicorn mug full to the brim with tea, playlist blasting, no matter the hour. I'm sure my neighbors really enjoyed. And I would just start typing away, just let it go, and I'd get caught up, and then me being me, I would start the cycle over again. So I'd take a day off or two and then have to catch up again. But apparently that is my writing process, and again, it was kind of all part of the experience that is NaNoWriMo. When the last day hit, like November 30th, I had around 6,500 words left that I needed to write by the end of the day in order to win NaNoWriMo. And I think November 30th was a Saturday, because I think I wrote almost the entire day. I felt like I could make it, but I'm not gonna lie, I was worried that I was not gonna hit the 50,000 word mark, just because, I don't know, maybe I have ADHD, who knows, but like I would type for a little while and then get up and have to like walk around or like lay down on my couch for a bit and like fiddle around for an hour, and then I'd go back to writing for maybe like 30 minutes and then do that again. So like I was making progress, but I wasn't making progress like fast enough. I was definitely worried that I wasn't gonna hit 50,000. There isn't a penalty or anything if you don't make it, but like I really wanted to do it. Like I had set that goal for myself, and I'm like super competitive, and yeah, I needed to hit that 50,000 word mark by the end of the day. Like I really wanted to be a NaNoWriMo winner. Like that was what I wanted. So it's like 6 or 7 p.m. at this point. I get a notification that I have won, that I hit my 50,000 word mark, and I was like, for real? Because I'm pretty sure I have like 2,000 words left to go, which was accurate. I still had like a good bit to write, but there was some type of glitch that happened in the Dabble NaNoWriMo sync. So in Dabble, it showed that I had like 2,000 words left to go, and in NaNoWriMo, I was at like 100,000 words. I'm not gonna lie, I was very tempted to just quit at that point and be like, yeah, totally did it. I'm a winner. See, here's the banner. Like, I've completed it. But I couldn't do it. I had to like hold myself accountable and keep pushing. So I kept writing using the word count that was on Dabble. And then at like 11:30 p.m., I finally hit 50,000 words. And it was fucking awesome. I did a little dance. I went over to the NaNoWriMo site to kind of see like what all of my winter goodies are. You know, they give you like a whole bunch of coupons and trials to some pretty neat like writing platforms and services and like publishing services. And then you get like a, you know, like a Facebook banner and a Twitter banner. And I don't know, it's like a fun thing. Like something pops up on your screen and there's like confetti and I don't know. It was cool. It was pretty awesome. Like I wrote 50,000 words in a month and almost finished a book because I am who I am. I don't like the ending that I have in my story. So I have to go back and rework that. But I am a NaNoWriMo 2019 winner, and that's pretty fucking sweet. Now that I've done it once, I think I'll do it again this year in 2020. And we'll actually go in with an idea for a book and see if I can start at 0 words and still hit the word count. I already know that that will be a hell of a lot harder than already starting with like 11,000 words. So I will have to be prepared. It definitely takes a lot of discipline to sit down and carve out time every day to write. But if it's something you want to do, then you'll make it happen. I was hoping that I would keep up the habit once the challenge was over, but I haven't. Oops. Also, not surprised at all. I will say that I am writing way more now than I was previous to the challenge. So that's definitely a good thing. I think it got me excited about writing again. So that's definitely been a plus that has come out of the challenge. I also feel like I could actually finish this book, edit it, make it pretty, and self-publish. Maybe this year. Who knows? That's definitely a goal that I have for myself. And those are all things that I didn't think I could do prior to the NaNoWriMo challenge. And now I do. So that was my experience, which overall was great. It was stressful, but it was also enlightening and made me feel more creative than I had in a while. Now let's hear from a few folks that also participated in NaNoWriMo.
Hi, Allie. This is Kate McNeil from Twin Type Books, and I heard that you were interested in some other authors' experience with NaNoWriMo, so I just wanted to say hi and let you know about my experience with Nano. So I did NaNoWriMo last year, so not 2019, but 2018. I did try it once before. I think it was the year before that, so 2017, but it didn't come anywhere near finishing. So last year, 2018, was really the year where I pushed myself to finish it, and I did end up completing it. I had also done a couple of the camp nanos, which are the much easier, straightforward, not quite the pressure cooker that the full-blown November NaNoWriMo is.
Hello, my name is Lauren Coffin, and I've done NaNoWriMo 15 times. First time that I tried to do it, I was 1,000% sure that there was no way I was actually going to reach 50,000 words. And I was super wrong about that. Now I've done it many times, and I feel like every year when I participate, it's a celebration of the fact that I can do more than I think I can.
I want to thank both Kate McNeil and Lauren Coffin for calling in, what a couple of badasses. They've participated in NaNoWriMo several times, and it sounds like they kill it every single time. Also, Lauren, 15 times? That is insane. Insane. It was honestly fantastic being able to share this experience with so many other people from around the world, and I cannot wait to do it again this year. So NaNoWriMo 2020, we are coming for you. Well, there you have it, everyone. That is my experience trying National Novel Writing Month, or NaNoWriMo. It was hard, stressful, but also inspiring. Will I do it again? 100% yes. Do I think others should try it? Yes, I do. If you are interested in writing, have, works in progress that you can't finish, or want to challenge yourself to write more, do it. It is a great experience, and I got so much out of it. So that's my recommendation. Try it out, jump into the community, and who knows, in 30 days, you may have written a novel. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media. That's at Fun Friends Podcast on Instagram and at Fun Friends Pod 1 on Twitter. You can also find me on Facebook. If you would like to leave me a voice message, you can do that through Anchor FM. I will tell you, you have 1 minute on that voice message, so make it count. You can also email me at funfriendspodcast@gmail.com. As always, my friends, get out there and have some fucking fun. Bye!